All right, my friends, how are you today? Hopefully, everybody had an amazing weekend. Aaron here bringing your daily horoscope for Monday, the 28th of September, 2020. At the top of the day, we've got the moon still in the sign of Aquarius. All right, so we're still focused on the future, okay? Planning, trying to figure out where we're going, where we're headed, how to get our ducks in line, how to delegate and direct our lives to get us in alignment with where we're headed, okay? Then at noon, the moon is going to move into the sign of Pisces, okay? So that's why I've got the chart set up right now at noon. So just before noon, moon enters Pisces, okay? This is, it's interesting. Starting the week off with the moon in Pisces is like completion. Pisces is completion. It's a time of rest. It's a time of introspectiveness, okay? And we've got this moon trine to Mercury, or moon trine to Mercury. Okay, easy flow of energy between our communication, which is in the depths of Scorpio. Okay, we're dealing with our own shadow. We're dealing with the shadow side of communication. We have so much relationship stuff going on right now. We're dealing with the shadow side of relationships. Okay, so this easy flow of energy between Mercury and the moon. All right, our emotional needs. And the sign of Pisces is to dream, is to imagine, is to turn off the physical, turning off our five senses and going into the non-physical. Okay, connecting with source, connecting with spirit, connecting with our higher selves, our inner child. All right, and seeing what the inner child and the higher self are trying to obtain. Okay, and there's, Mercury's insight too. It's not just communication from our lips. It's intuition, right? So with Mercury in the depths of Scorpio, we could be dealing with some really lovely, specifically today with this trine, but with the moon being there the next couple of days, this great opportunity for really great emotional depth and insight coming into our lives to help gear us and steer us to where we need to be going. Okay, so we can expect a lot of good insight coming in today, and especially if we give ourselves the time. That's the thing, with the moon in Pisces, it's a need. It's not just there; it's a need for us to go internal, to focus on ourselves, to see where we've been, what we've gone through, where we want to be. So maybe some of you are there already. You're in perfect alignment, and that's awesome. Then this is a great time to just continue that process and tapping into the self and seeing where we're headed. Also, Venus is a perfect trine to Mars today. Okay, we still have some of the same aspects we had over the weekend, this grand kite going on here. Okay, balancing our masculine and feminine, balancing, Venus is not just love and desires, but really it's about value. Okay, here in Taurus, it's about valuing things, material possessions. Venus rules Libra, which is about other people, right? How we value others, how we value things. Venus here, what we value. This is fifth house, Leo energy, our own creative self-expression. We must value our own unique individuality. Okay, and the only competition we have is with ourselves to be a better person than we were yesterday. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. This trine here from Mars and the South Node, it's a beautiful alignment. And again, we don't have to prove anything to anyone. It's like we want our competitor to be at their best, at their peak, so that when we win the race, we know that we won, right, while they were at their best. Or if we lost, they were at their best. And that gives us something to look forward to, something to strive for, right? And of course, this trine, the grand trine kite, there's two sextiles, Mars and Venus, both sextile down to the North Node, saying, look, we got to march to the beat of our own drum, and we have to do us and follow our hearts. Okay. I'll share this with you. I saw this squirrel today. I was driving home, and I saw this squirrel, big old nut in his mouth, crazy, right? And he was running across the street, and there was barely any cars on the road, but there was me, and then he stopped and saw me, and then he ran back to the side he came from. Then I passed, and there was a good chunk of time before the next round of cars, and he tried to dart out and make it again. It's a 5-lane expressway, so highway, whatever. He didn't get it across, so he ran back to the other side, and then as soon as those cars passed, then he ran out again. And part of this, when I look at the astrology, it's just like that's so important. Having our eyes focused on our destination, on where we're headed, and not giving up just because there's an obstacle or a roadblock or a car speeding down the highway, right? Keep our eyes on the prize, and we'll eventually get there. All right, we still have this. Let me see it. How do I want to break this down? We talked about this yesterday. Okay, the South Node to Mercury, Mercury to Chiron, Chiron to the South Node, all creating the septile. This has to do with releasing, letting go, and again, that insight that's coming in when we tap in, when we tune into ourselves and our emotional needs. Maybe this is rest, maybe this is completion for us, completing the end of a long journey before we begin a new one. Maybe this is tapping into our dreams. All right, how big are your dreams? How big is your imagination, creativity? Nobody can touch that, right? And here in the depths of Scorpio, it's the same. It's just like this is unknown territory. We don't know how powerful we can be. We don't know how romantic we can be. We don't know how successful we can be, right? So these septiles here is just furthering that and saying, let go of whatever's going on that's holding us back from getting there. Okay, and part of it, the sun here over the next couple of days this week will be opposite of Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer in self. Okay, so there's a couple angles I want to look at this at. One would be not allowing other people's interpretations or ideas of us to determine our value of ourselves. Okay, to not allow other people, their ideas, their concepts, their judgment of us to determine our value. Venus down there in Leo, right? We set our own value. We value ourselves. And that has to be number one, okay? So Chiron opposing the sun, that's part of it, is understanding that our value, our worth. The other part of it is that there is healing in relationships. There's healing in communication with the other, okay? And with Mercury going into Scorpio, this is saying we really have to, and the moon over there in Pisces, we have to bring a completion to certain things, certain subjects, topics, quarrels, whatever it may be, lovers' quarrels, and put them to rest and have those deep communications, those deep conversations, to allow the unfolding to begin, to allow that healing to begin, okay? And sometimes it's just a miscommunication. And that's what, these septiles might indicate right now. That this could be miscommunication. Oh, I thought you did this because of this, and I thought you did this because of this. And now we've been, holding a grudge on each other, And then it's just like, the communication comes out, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad we could end this cycle. I'm glad we could open up. And now we can be friends or lovers or whatever it is, right? Sun there in the relationship sign of Pisces, or the relationship sign of Libra, okay? We also have, to wrap this up here, Saturn station direct, okay? This is Big Papa Bear in the zodiac, Father Time, the Lord of Karma, the authority, the laws of the physical world, Aquarius and Pisces, they're like, we don't care about the laws of the physical world. We're not here. Okay, so that's Saturn's territory. So Uranus and Neptune, they're free to do whatever they want. Break through and expand our conscious, unconscious minds. So Saturn moving direct, okay, or station direct at least today, means that we're waking the sleeping giant, all right? We're going to see some new laws being implemented potentially as soon as this week. Okay, new laws, new orders. And as well, it's a reconfirmation for ourselves of, again, something we've been talking about for a hot minute here, our own authority, right? And valuing our own authority and understanding our own power. okay? Which is extremely important. And that's coming back down to Venus here, valuing ourselves, valuing our personality. Sometimes we just truly don't know the gravity of our words or our actions, and we do not see the ripple. Okay, Saturn's ruled by an earth sign, the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. Okay, so there's gravity to it, there's weight to it. So it's like we're throwing a rock in the pond. The fish are going to scatter, it's going to create a ripple. That'll make a bobber from a fish, a fisherman, 100 meters away, maybe. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, though? So it's like sometimes we don't know our actions or our words, the impact that they have. Everything influences everything, right? So we might not even know. It's the way we responded to a gas station clerk, or the way we responded to a restaurant employee, waiter, waitress, or something, and it's either a positive or a negative effect. Okay, on how we're influencing other people, and we have to understand our own karma that we are putting out into this world, and with the sun moving through Libra, and it's going to square Saturn at the, around the 19th, somewhere around the 18th, 19th. That's square. And it's saying we really need to understand our power of influence over other people. And when, if the sun's shining bright all the time and there's no cloud coverage, there's no rain, our crops are destroyed. Our crops are ruined. So there's a time to be bold and loud and expressive, and then there's a time to reel it in. And we must discern this. There's no right or wrong. There's not somebody else going to tell you the answers, But all this leads back to bettering our relationships with ourselves, bettering our relationships with others. All right. I threw a lot at you today. I'm sorry. There's so much going on right now. I think I got to start making weeklies, to be honest, and do like a weekly overview of what's happening to like tighten up the dailies. I don't know. Plate's full. But we'll see. Now, I just want to make this as translatable as possible. Anyway. Either way, my friends, communication, insight, healing, going to the depths of our souls, going to the depths of ourselves, working with the shadow that we might not want to shine a light on. And we have to, for the better relationship of ourselves, for the better relationship of ourselves with the other, and to keep our eyes on our dreams and our imagination and the creativity and the expansion that we can bring into this world. How good can life be? How great can it be? The sky is the limit. All right, my friends, have a beautiful start to your week, and we'll see you tomorrow.